Hey guys, what's up? Time for another game theory video. Remember to like these videos, like, sub, silly, comment, share, support the channel if you want. I appreciate it. Thanks. Today, I'm going to talk about something that I've talked about before a couple times, and it is the best thing and the worst thing about tag team games. And I'm going to give this Vegeta example that I've talked about in a couple videos because I actually think it's one of the best ideas I've ever actually had, just randomly thinking about a video game. But I think the best and the worst thing about tag team video games is it gives you the excuse to put in really broken shit and obnoxious shit, just weird shit for characters. And because you have two other opportunities to compensate for this weirdness on your team, right? Of course, we look at a game like Dragon Ball FighterZ, Fighter Z, whatever, and we think about a character I've said like Vegito. Vegito is a perfect example of a archetypical character, a new potential archetype kind of character that is not possible in any other fighting game. But because of the mechanics that are in place in this game, you can make a character like this, right? Not possible in another game though, right? And just tag team games in general, you have excuses to make really weird characters with potential really broken aspects in certain areas. Like, let's say if it was like a sports game and you had a character and you have your characters like shot accuracy, pass accuracy, speed, endurance, whatever it might be. For tag team games, whatever it might be, you have excuses to have a character that has like 100 attribute in something, but like a 0 in something else, right? I mean, take what I'm saying with a grain of salt, but hopefully you get it what I'm getting at, right? And that is the best and worst thing about tag team games, that you have these kind of opportunities, right? Not that there don't exist extreme differences in other fighting games. And I've said before, look at a game like Super Turbo. Characters with these clear type character, these clear typical archetypical strengths, whatever. A game that is supposedly broken like Super Turbo. In a weird way, it's one of the most balanced fighting games if you think about it, because almost basically every character is used competitively somewhat. So of course this exists in one-on-one games as well, but you know, for sake of argument, it can be even more extreme in tag team games, right? And I also say this is the worst part, because this is, I know this probably hurts some kind of nerds, and I said this before. I'm lucky enough that I was able to win all these tournaments without being someone that really practiced a lot like this, right? I am a nerd that is naturally, has more raw skill. And I'm going to talk shit about myself in a second. I know the haters are going to be like, Clayton's sucking himself off here for a second, but I'm going to tell you a weakness of me as a player. I've been able to win without playing a lot, right? And I've been able to do all this stuff creatively in games. But I've always said I don't actually like tag team games that much. They're not games that I've normally played. And it's because technically of the best thing of games. Because in tag team games, and I know this hurts the nerd, right? But this is me looking at it logically. The nerd in me just, I want to play the characters that I like. And inevitably, there's probably going to be a lot of other nerds like me that if we are making Dragon Ball FighterZ Z the competitive game that it could be, there's going to be a good chance that a lot of other nerds are not going to be able to have the competitive team that they want to be if they're playing this game seriously, if it's made properly, right? Hell, even if people are playing the game now, right? You know what I mean? But as the game, if we're thinking about progressing it more and more, with more, of these extreme differences to make these crazy teams, a lot of nerds like me are in these other tag team games. You know what I mean? It can be hard to find the characters that are your favorite characters in the lore of Dragon Ball Fighter or Dragon Ball Z and actually make a team with those characters, because they might not be as synergistically compatible, right? And so that's what I'm talking about. It's the best and the worst thing, because it's the best thing because you have excuses to make really weird characters, have really weird moves, whatever it might be, really weird gimmicks. You have this excuse, but because you have this excuse, you might have to pick, let's just say in, this theoretical game, you know, you pick whoever, blah, blah, boom, shakalaka. You pick Funky Butt Loving. Funky Butt Loving is only good with a specific couple tag team partners. He just doesn't work, right? Whatever it might be. You know what I mean? So that's what I'm getting at. So that's why, you know what I mean? I try to think about games logically, whatever. You know, I can appreciate because I understand it. The nerd in me, I've always said, I don't even know who I would pick if I actually played in this game seriously. Because I know I would want to have a team around Vegito, right? You know what I mean? So I would want to make him work, but... Anyway, I think that's the best and the worst thing about tag team games. The best thing is, again, so many excuses to make these characters weird, to differentiate these characters, to make them so much stranger than a one-on-one game can ever be, right? Because the idea is you can always say, theoretically, I can build a team around this character. I can build a team around my favorite character. Now, unfortunately, maybe I'm not going to be able to have my two other favorite characters, but maybe I can find a way to make my favorite character at least work, right? And just because the game's in, and I've always said, I use this example of this is like such a great, amazing idea that I said I would do for Vegeta to put in the final explosion, right? And it sounds crazy, and then you could never do this in a one-on-one game because it would not work. Right? It wouldn't work. But because it's a tag team game, you can add in weird gimmicks like this. And for Vegeta's final explosion, I said I would do something weird, like he has a level 5 super, something like that, and he does the final explosion. And no matter what, it's unblockable. No matter where the guy is on the screen, it does half-life. And Vegeta is invincible while he does it, right? And I'm going to get into the caveats, the asterisk marks of this, right? A very slow level 5 super, right? So say right when you do it, you know what I mean? He does his little speech like goodbye, sayonara, Kakarot, Trunks, or does he say sayonara, Trunks, Bulma, so stay Kakarot, whatever the fuck he says. Say it has a little bit of a time. So wait, I'm going to show this because I've showed this example before. Where are my bars? So what I would do for this is, however, it's always like, sayonara, Trunks, so stay, blah, 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 blah. Whatever, say it's slow enough that the guy can build up about a bar, or a bar and a half, right? The gimmick of this is, and you know, there's already kind of a precedent of moves in this game like this, right? Like if we were to do, let's just say like this, like roll with me here. I know this is a little bit weird, but, so I think this works, right? So we have this, right? If he does this, yeah, so we see that little explosion. Does that hit? Man, I should have used the beam super, right? Who is a beam super on this team? I guess we have Gohan, right? Will Gohan's hit, though? God, I don't know if Gohan's is going to... I probably should have picked better characters for this, right? I probably should have picked better characters for this. I don't know if this is going to work. Okay, so we get that little thing here, right? So what I'm saying is there's already a precedent, and you know if you level 3, it totally goes through that. So I don't know how they put in the algorithm for this game or what other properties, but the idea would be that when Vegeta is going through this speech, right, he is invincible to every move but a level 3. A level 3, for some reason, the properties of it just overrides his invincibility, and they can hit him out of it, right? But otherwise, the gimmick of this would be that if you have a level 5, you know what I mean? And, you know, it automatically kills Vegeta, too. Automatically kills him. So, of course, you basically could have teams around wanting to build Vegeta to a level 5. And then keep him as alive as long as you can until he's about to die. And then he does a final explosion. And no matter where the guy is on the screen, no matter what happens, it's unblockable. He takes half-life. But the caveat to this is because it's so slow, the only way that he can pull this off is if he knocks down, okay, I knock you down, I can go through that speech. That character doesn't have time to build up a bar to get a level 3 that could override this, right? The only thing he could do is he could try to tag in. He's like, oh, fuck, I don't want this character to die. He's going through that speech. I can't hit him. I don't have time to charge up to a level 3 to try to beat him, to knock him out of this move. So you know what? I'm looking at the life bar on my team side. You know what? I'm going to sacrifice this character's half-life. That is a really fucking weird gimmick. Do you get what I'm getting at? That's a gimmick that's not possible in any other game but a tag team game. And you could make it work. He goes through this long speech. Sayonara, Trunks. What does he say? My lore of it. Just so he's like goodbye, Trunks, Bulma, and Kakarot. And you could build almost a bar and a half. So at least there's an idea of the guy like, fuck. I have a level 3. Do I want to waste a level 3 to kill Vegeta? Even though maybe Vegeta only has 5% life left. You know what I mean? But I got to realize if I don't wager either wasting a level 3 that I have to knock him out of this, even if he only has 5% life left, or if I don't, I got to take half life, at least to one of my characters. And it's slow at least, so it's like, okay, well, I don't want this character to die, so I can see it's coming, so I'm going to switch out this character. He takes half life. Do you get what I'm getting at? And of course, if he just tries to do it raw, like, oh, I'm about to die. He's like, I only have 5% life left. You know what I mean? I'm about to die, so I'm just going to do this thing. That opponent, he can be like, okay, well, you know what? I'm close to getting to level 3. Maybe I'm at a level 2. So I'm just going to charge up a little bit, and I'm going to level 3, and I'm going to knock him out of it. You know what I mean? What's happening there? Do you see all the kind of gimmicks that are happening? One, charging doesn't get used enough in this game, right? Now we have a character that you might actually see, someone might charge up. You know what I mean? Because they're like, wow, this is a clear-cut character that you might have to remember to charge your ki. Because if he's about to die, whatever, you know what I mean? You see him doing this like pose, you see him going that slow pose, few second pose where he's like, oh, fuck, he's going to do this. I'm going to charge up, waste my level 3 to kill him. Waste, whatever. Or, I know it's coming. I don't want my character that has so much life left. I can't block it. It's full screen. No matter what, boom. I'm going to waste this character. He takes half life. And the things, like I said, you could say, Vegeta, say it takes, he has to have a level 5. So there could be teams that are built around, just like there's Phoenix teams, you know what I mean, and Marvel vs. Capcom 3, or teams that are built around teams. Look at a character like Vegeta. You could put in a really easy gimmick like for Vegeta. Hey, Vegeta is a character that, I think Vegeta is a kind of a weird character. I feel like probably a lot of people probably think he's kind of a little bit dull in this game. You know what I mean? Just calling it is like it is, right? But you could give Vegeta a weird gimmick where maybe someone wants to build a team that revolves around Vegeta always being close to having a level 5. So even if he's about to die, wow, this guy either has to waste meter to knock him out of this super, or he has to waste half-life no matter what. And again, it's slow, so you can waste a teammate. It's not like you have no choice. If he tries to do it for free, well, then you can actually charge up. Fuck, I'm at a level 2. He's doing it. You know what? Fuck it. I'm going to build a little bit of bar, use a level 3, knock him out of it. At least he wasted a level 5, and I used a level 3. Do you get what I'm getting at? He's wasting a level 5. You're only wasting a level 3. That's not a bad thing. So it's not for free, but there is a clear-cut gimmick to why you would want to do it. If Vegeta's ever about to die, like, Vegeta, he's close to dead. He only has 5% life left. And you know what? He hits a knockdown. He's like, fuck. He's like, I got level 5. I'm going to waste this level 5 because you're fucked. At least I'm going to get half-life no matter what on your team. So anyway, that's what I'm talking about. These are the potential best ideas. They're the best things and the worst things about tag team games, because you can add in a really fucking weird move like this that is not possible. You couldn't add a move like this in a single player game. You know what I mean? It just doesn't make sense, because the opponent wouldn't have enough options to get out of it. It would probably be pretty fucking cheap. But in a tag team game where you have 2 other chances on your team to compensate for something weird, it makes sense. And again, the worst thing is, I know that as the game gets weirder and weirder, it becomes potentially harder and harder for the nerd in you to mix match and make the synergy out of the team that you like the most. But ultimately, it's the best thing for a game, because I talk about when you are showing off a product to a consumer, you have to sell the product to the consumer by showing them that they can get something that they cannot get in another product. It doesn't matter, just a Dragon Ball Z game. A tag team game is a different product and has different kinds of potential mind games that you cannot get in another product. And so you want it to be as different as possible. while still respecting the core fundamentals of what made fighting games popular in the first place. But anyway. If you like these videos, like, sub, comment, share, support the channel if you want. I appreciate it. Thanks. The end.